Look at this crazy field. We've got a Mechaba, a Winda that was made on your opponent's turn, a Magnite Crusadia Avermax that's also protected because it was made with IP Masquerena. Whoa! This is a crazy, hard, oppressive field to deal with, and typically can end with monsters on the board as well. Let's jump into a deck profile of Shaddoll Invoked. Lads, welcome back to the channel here on Fusion YGO, and today I'm going to be showcasing you Shaddoll Invoked. You guys voted for this over on the Twitter, so make sure if you are not following me on Twitter, you'll follow me in the description below. We are nearing 250 subscribers, so just remember by the end of the month of May, if we hit 250 subscribers, we will be doing a giveaway. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into the deck profile that you wanted to see. And if we can hit 25 likes on this video, I will post a combo tutorial. I guess 50 was too steep, we couldn't get there, so we're going to go for 25 on this one. So be a part of it so I can show you guys this awesome 3-card combo. But without further ado, let's jump in to the deck profile. Alright, starting out, we have triple copies of Alistair the Invoker. So obviously it's Shaddoll Invoked, so we have to run triple copies of him. Alistair is one of the most important cards, and it's the best normal summon in the deck, because we all need a normal, and he's our normal. So triple copies of Alistair. Triple copies of Shaddoll Squamata. Squamata dumps things, it's Foolish Burial for the archetype, really helps move your pieces around to be able to chain block and protect from like Ash and things like that. So Shaddoll Squamata as the only 3 of the Shaddolls. Moving forward with the Shaddoll package, though, we run double copies of Shaddoll Wendy. Wendy is your summon from the deck in face down defense, which is actually part of the standard combos, but like I said, 25 likes, and I'll show you how that combo works. 2 copies of Shaddoll Hedgehog. Hedgehog is Rhoda for the archetype for the monsters when it's sent, and when it's flip summoned, which this comes up occasionally, not often, but occasionally, you can just search a Shaddoll spell or trap from your deck, add it to your hand. Rounding out the Shaddolls, there's a few more. I run a different package, so 1 Beast, it's Upstart Goblin, Falco, freely special summons itself back, 1 Ariel, Ariel is part of the combo, 1 Dragon, deals with back row, and finally 1 Kaios. Kaios is important because it's a searchable light off of Hedgehog, which gives you ways to get into Construct, which is the whole starter of the deck. So that is our entire Shaddoll package. I like this just as is. I have a good amount of success with it. And I think that having a searchable light target is incredibly important. Continuing that, we have our other light package, which is 2 Perform Range Damage Juggler and 1 Trick Clown. Damage Juggler is the best light target you can have in your hand for anything, because it searches this, and then you can just kind of freely go about your combos, but Damage Juggler is insane. Next up is Hand Traps. You only run a few. It's triple copies of Nibiru. Nibiru is great in the main because if you do lose the dice roll, Nibiru can, break a board apart and hurt people. But on the flip side, it's a light, so if you win the die roll and you open it, well, it's not going to do any good for you, right? Wrong. It's a way to get Construct, and it's a card that works either way just because of how the deck operates. And then 2 copies of Ash. Ash is just the most generic hand trap, so run it. Alright, next up, triple copies of Magical Meltdown, and a 4th copy of Magical Meltdown in Terraforming. You've got to see Alistair. Alistair is, like I said, the best normal. It's the only normal summon in the deck. It's the best monster for bringing everything together. You want to see it. This just gives you extra copies of it. And to top that off with those, we also run 2 copies of Invocation. Invocation is polymerization, for lack of a better term. You abuse this card, you search it out so frequently. This card just, it's great, and gotta have it. Gotta run 2. Some people say 3. I live and breathe by 2. I think 2 is more than enough. I've never thought, I really need a third. And when I do, it's in a position where I'm probably losing that game anyway. Triple copies of Shaddoll Fusion. Shaddoll Fusion is going second, Blowout. Going first is Polymerization, because you need as many copies of Polymerization. Continuing that, we have triple copies of El Shaddoll Fusion, Quick Play Polymerization, really important. Continuing Quick Play Polymerizations, we have triple copies of Super Polymerization. And then that's it for the 3 ofs and spells. We only have a few more cards left. So we got 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. This is for Mystic Mine and things like that. Cosmic Cyclone is just a good way to say no. And then Foolish Burial and Rest Shaddoll Incarnation. So Foolish Burial, just to kind of start your plays, it gives you an additional way to get to your whatever pieces you need. And Incarnation is part of the combo. The standard combo, that's not necessarily meaning anything else. And that's it for the main deck. It's 42 cards. Because you don't want to see Aerial, you don't want to see Incarnation. You can play with them in your hand, obviously, but if you don't have to have them, it's really nice to not have them and be able to combo. Next, into the extra deck, 2 copies of El Shaddoll Construct, and I'm going to do all the El Shaddolls. So 2 El Shaddoll Winda, and 1 El Shaddoll App Cologne. Okay, Construct is the heart and soul of the extra deck. Gotta run it at 2. 3 is too many. And it doesn't allow you to play things like App Cologne, which does help you in grind games. Winda, it's got protection from things like Lightning Storm and things like that. Card's insane. And locks your opponent into 1 special summon, which is really hard for a lot of decks to deal with. Especially if you can get like an Alistair in hand or whatever. But this dumps whatever you need, and then they all recur something back. App Cologne is a permanent effect failure when it's special summoned, so you can abuse App Cologne that way to negate a monster's effect permanently, which comes in clutch, actually, especially in grindier games. Then your Invoked stuff, so 1 Mechaba, 1 Purgatrio, and 1 Kaliga. Mechaba is just so powerful. Banishing whatever it negates comes in clutch. Purgatrio overruns things. This is how you beat out things like Pendulum and things like that. Decks like that that swarm the board. It clears it. And then Kaliga locks them into 1 monster effect per turn, which can be part of the slower strategy of the deck. If you're trying to play under Nibiru, for example, Kaliga is actually incredibly important because it locks them into only being allowed to attempt to activate 1 monster effect in the turn. And if they have this in Winda, then they can only attempt to activate 1 monster effect, and they can only special summon once per turn. That pretty much locks out 90% of decks. And if you do summon this, then you've probably got an Alistair in hand, and in that instance, you're probably going to win the game. So those are the 3 Invoked cards you need. And then finally, 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. Self-explanatory, I'm sure. 1 Salamangreat Almirage. This gives you a searchable fire target, so you can side out the Ashes in matchups where they don't do enough, which is incredibly important. 1 copy of Cross Sheep, which is one of the best cards in the entire extra deck. 1 copy of Alistair, the Invoker of Madness. Madness is, well, it's mad. It actually is incredibly important in this deck. I will show you if we can hit that 25 likes for the combo tutorial. 1 IP Masquerena, 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn, and finally, 1 copy of Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax. Oof, that's a mouthful. So, that's going to be it for the extra deck. And that's going to be the deck profile. This has been my Shaddoll Invoked deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed. And lads, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Check me out on Twitter, like I said. I've said it like 5 times throughout this video. 25 likes, and we get a combo tutorial for this deck to show you the board that you saw at the beginning of this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Good fun, have luck, and we'll see you next time.